Hello everyone, welcome back to the room we always start the vlogs in. I always start this by saying today is a very exciting day. Today's not a very exciting day really. Basically we bought some plants at the weekend and I need to plant them in the garden. If you saw last week's video then you would have seen that my mum came down for the weekend and we actually went to the garden centre that I always recommend. It's called the Gardening Club in Enfield and it's basically a big nursery, a family run nursery. They grow pretty much everything I think in there. They're very much more focused at this time of year anyway. They're much more focused on like veg and they do a lot of geraniums, a lot of like herbs and veg basically. So guess what I picked up? Some veg plants. I picked up a couple of bean plants, some courgettes, and what else did I pick up? And some cucumbers. So I think I'm going to enter my kitchen garden era with 2 galvanised bathtubs in a side alley in East London. So we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully gardening interests you. It's something I really love, but I'm just not very good at, and I think it's because I haven't really done it a lot. So we're going to go out into the garden in a second, but first I'm going to pop in some, like the clips of when we went to the garden centre, and I was a bit excited. I only picked up a few plants because I want to test myself first. So yeah, let me pop that in first and then you can come back to me and then we can go and head out into the garden. Okay, so we're at the garden centre now and I think I'm getting into my gardening era. So we're picking up some beans, cucumbers. Mum's over here, look. Mum's trying to find some parsley and some stuff on my sister's balcony, which we're probably going to do on here as well. But I've just picked up some plants and I want to try and find some, either some like courgette zucchini plants as well, because I know they just grow like wild. So I'm very much in my happy place right now. What else is there? Rosemary, everything is here. So I'm very excited, but yeah, I'll tune in once I get on my plants and I will show you what we pick up. So this is what our kitchen sink currently looks like. Chad the other day ordered 25 foxgloves from Sarah Raven. These are all white, completely white. So we're going to plant these in the garden in a second. The reason they're in the sink, obviously, is because they were looking rather dry. And we actually just put them in here overnight and they've restored themselves, basically. I will say, we normally get our foxgloves from like a local garden centre, and I think they import them from the Netherlands. Whereas these are all grown on Sarah Raven's, I think it's called Perch Hill. It's their nursery somewhere, I'm not sure where it is in the UK. But I will just say that the quality of them, they look so much more ahead of where we normally find them. Normally they're like, I don't even know how to say it to you on camera. Normally they're around this size when you buy them at this time of year, but these already basically have the flower heads on them, so they're looking really healthy, really good. These ones, for example, you can see have the flowers really starting to come on them, so I'm really excited to see how these go. Obviously now that we don't have Dougal, we don't have to worry about foxgloves because they are toxic to dogs. So yeah, we need to go and plant all these foxgloves. I've then got some hollyhocks that I don't think I showed you, possibly I might have shown you. We've got some white hollyhocks and we also have the veg plants to go and plant in my bathtubs. So we've got a busy day in the garden and then I'm debating whether to start filming today the bedroom transformation because I need to paint it basically. It's already had a bit of paint on it. I need to paint all of the walls, all of the ceiling, all of the skirting boards, and I think I'm going to paint the cupboard as well. I'm going to leave the cupboard till last. So this video might be the bedroom transformation video, I'm not too sure. Hopefully it is because it's been dragging for a very long time. So I think we're going to start with the garden, and then when the sun goes away, I think the sun's getting away around midday today, we can come back inside and start on the bedroom. So let's go outside and I will show you the plants that we bought from the garden centre. And we'll get to planting. Okay, right, welcome back to the garden. We've got quite a lot to do. So we're going to start, I think, with the easy parts, which is planting the hollyhocks that we ordered, or we got from Waitrose the other day when we did our little unboxing, actually. We picked these up from the Waitrose. I think I've got 4 of these. I think Chad's given away 2 to our neighbour because these do get quite big. And we don't really have that much space for them. So I think I'm going to pop them in the middle of the circle border, behind the lavender, sort of next to the salvia that we have. I'll show you guys in a second, but I think it will look quite nice at the back of the border there. I've then got 25 foxgloves to plant around. So I think I need to get on with this and go and grab all the foxgloves first and pop them down to see where I want to put them. Right, so I've got 6 here. And we've got 25 in total. So where can we put these? Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but I've popped in 4 or 5 here. I think 4 are going to go here, and then I've popped them all down the rest of the beds as well. But let's start with these and get these planted. Hello. Come here. I don't know if you guys can see, but this cat has been visiting us every single day for the past, well, since it's been sunny, and it's the sweetest cat. My mum came the other day, and it just fell asleep on her when she was sunbathing outside. So I think we may have adopted the neighbourhood cat, and it loves our garden, so it's like the friendliest cat I think I've ever encountered. Aren't you? So, onwards to the next bed. Thank you for stepping all over my freshly planted plants. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. We're going to move into this one now. There's really not that much room because the penstemons are starting to really bulk up, these ones. So I'm going to plant them, I think, just in like a curve here. There used to be salvia in there, but I think it's passed away. So I need to get some more salvia. Maybe I'll leave that blank then. I'll try and fit some in at the back. Let's see what we can do. Okay, we're going to leave that one. And now we're going to plant the hollyhocks. So we're going to pop this hollyhock. I don't know if you can see, there's like no room in here, so I don't know what we're going to do about these roses. But there are salvia underneath here. Let's pop the hollyhock in, see how it does. And then what we'll do, you can really see the difference. This side is the shadier side of the garden, and it doesn't start to get sun until like midsummer because the sun gets higher. So this one we're going to do a hollyhock here, but I don't know whether it's going to do as well as the other side because hollyhocks usually need full sun. Okay, right, we're back in the side alley, and I need to shuffle a few things in here around, including the oregano and the sage, and I think I'm going to try and move the angelica as well. I'm not too fussy about it, they're all quite cheap plants to replace, but what I didn't plan for is this bed is the one that gets the most sun, so the beans and the courgettes and everything I've just bought, obviously I want to put them in somewhere that gets a bit more sun than the rest, so I'm going to move all of these into that bed over there, and then I'm going to try and move some of these plants into the borders around the trees because I don't really want them in our garden. They have lots of ferns and some skimmia and stuff, so we're going to start by taking all of these plants out and try and find somewhere to put them basically. Okay, it might not look like a lot at the moment, but I've moved the 2 Angelica plants into here, all of the sage, a tiny little parsley plant that I forgot was even in there, and 3 of the oregano plants. I gave one of these to my sister yesterday, so let's see if she can keep them alive. But now, this one here, I'm not sure if you can see this bed here. There you go, you should be able to see this one now. This one is the exciting one because we're going to pop some courgettes, some beans, and some cucumbers into here. And we're going to pray that this gets enough light to grow them. Right, so we have for this one, Fem Spot cucumbers. Apparently they mature in 55 to 65 days. So I think we might do the courgettes on this side. These courgettes are golden courgettes. They're called Paradol. I don't know if you can see that, but this is what a courgette plant looks like if you're wondering. This, I think, gets quite big and quite sort of like pumpkin-esque, squash-esque. So I think maybe we'll do the 2 on this end, or maybe at the fronts. Yeah, let's do the courgettes at the fronts. The beans obviously at the backs because they need to grow up. For the beans we have tender green, dwarf French beans. Apparently these mature in 45 to 57 days. They should be fun. I think I've got 2 different types of beans. So we've got the tender green, and then we've got the enorma runner bean, which matures in 80 to 90 days. And that's the really big one. I put this on the floor yesterday, and snails and slugs had already started to eat this, so I don't know what we're going to do about that, but I think beans are going to go at the back. We might put this one here, because it's the biggest one. Okay, right, so for the time being, I'm going to pinch Chad's obelisk and use it for my beans. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the obelisk in first, and then beans after. So let's just level this out a little bit. I'm hoping this compost is going to be okay because it's basically fresh, so. And there you go. It doesn't look like a lot, but this might be the start of my little garden, my little vegetable garden. So I'm going to give everything a water that I've just planted, and then we're going to move into the house. And depending on whether I can show you or not, we're going to start painting the main bedroom. Let's give everything a water and then head on inside. Right, good afternoon, good morning. I'm not sure what the time is right now, but we are currently a few days on from where I last filmed. Today is Wednesday, and I'm just about to make lunch, basically. The last clip you would have seen was me finishing in the garden and then going upstairs and saying that I was going to start painting the bedroom, and I have started painting the bedroom, and I'm finishing it off today, basically. But I don't think I'm going to show you that until next week. So sorry to tease you. I know it's really annoying when people tease, but it's definitely worth its own sort of video because I'll be styling and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to wait for that next week. Fingers crossed it will come out next week. But in the meantime, I thought I'd make a nice quick lunch and then we're going to head on out to another garden centre. Sorry if the garden content's boring you, but we're really in garden mode right now. The dish we're going to make is a hot honey and halloumi flatbread. I'm actually going to try and whip up some flatbreads right now by myself. I think these are the quick recipe that don't have any yeast in them. So I've made them once before. They weren't amazing, but I'm going to try and do them again. So I'm just going to find the recipe. Again, I will leave it linked below. But yeah, let's make these really quickly and then we'll head on out and we'll take you with us. other day, Chad and I went to an event and there was an Olenstein next to us. And we went in because I think you were told that
They have the best rye bread.
yeah, and we got a chia rye bread. They do a pumpkin, or is it a carrot?
I think it's carrot.
Should we go inside and get one?
We'll get one.
We'll get one for you guys, hold on. Don't know if you can see, but Chad has just noticed these, and they've got little insect boxes on them, and they're above the lampposts on the street. How cool is that? For all the wildlife. Well, what's left of it anyway. Right, hello everyone. You're currently being rested on my bookshelf, so hopefully you don't fall, hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully the lighting's okay. It's quite a dark and miserable day now. This morning was really lovely, really sunny. So we actually just did some things around the house, and then we decided to pop into Central to pick up some wine, basically. Our local wine shop has really sadly closed, and it means we're now without a local wine shop. So we decided to go to one in Belgravia. It's the same company that we went to in Hampstead. It's called Jeroboam's, but we just stopped by the one in Belgravia to pick up a red wine that we really like. And whilst we were there, we did some shopping. So I'm just going to unpack things with you. And also we've ordered some things for the house recently that I still haven't covered. So I thought we'd do a bit of an unboxing. Again, I'm not going to make this a weekly thing, so please don't get used to it. I think first of all, we're going to start with the light switches. We'll start with something housey. I'm not sure if you can see our light switches here. When we moved in, we bought the really basic, I mean, they're not the most basic, they're antiqued brass light switches, basically. They're like a nice finish, but we just wanted something a bit nicer. Chad's going to try and take credit for this, but it's a joint decision. But we have always loved traditional like Bakelite switches. And as you guys know, anything old, Victorian, Georgian, anything like that. We've actually ordered some dolly switches, is what I think they're called. They come on a unstained, unfinished oak backing that looks like this. And then basically we've chosen an unlacquered brass that will really nicely, it will develop a really lovely patina over the next few years when we touch it with our oily fingers. And this is just going to be replacing every single one of these light switches over here. We're going to stain, if you can see, that's what it will look like. I might do a close-up in a second so it makes a bit more sense to you guys. But we're actually going to refinish this and use the same colour stain as our floor. So it's going to be a nice dark mahogany walnut-esque finish on this with a really lovely, eventually patinaed brass on top. We've ordered 4 of these single ones. So for our bedrooms, our upstairs hallway, and our bathroom, I think. And then downstairs we have like 2, 3 light switches. And again, same thing. This is going to be, one of them is going to go in the kitchen, sort of vertically. And then in our hallway, as when you come into the house, we have one for our dining room light. It's really boring, but all that sort of stuff. And then we're gonna have 3 across. So I think these are gonna look really lovely. I will show you what they look like when we stain them. It's little things like this that I think really tell a house apart from other houses. They're really simple things that you can do to sort of refinish your house and add a bit more character. They are quite expensive, I'm not going to lie. The company that we bought them from are called Broughton's Lighting and Ironmongery. They're based in Leicester. They were £427 for 6 in total, so 2 of the long ones and then 4 of the little ones. So it is a very expensive thing to do. Light switches in general aren't cheap, but we really like them. So yeah, I placed the order for that a couple of days ago. That's the only really housey thing that we've got to show you, basically. Another thing that I will show you, and I will give credit to Chad for this. Basically, Chad has always loved olive oil dispensers, and there's one that he's always really loved, but it's from Etsy and I think it's over £100. We have ordered that anyway. But in the meantime, he was scrolling through M&S's homeware section and he came across this set of 2 ceramic bud vases. One's like thinner and the other one's more spherical. So if I show you, this is what they look like. They have a really lovely, I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, they have a crackled glaze with a really pretty, like, sort of French blue design. They're bud vases, but Chad came up with a genius idea to order some tops from Amazon. I think these cost like 50p, and they literally just fit into this, and then he's created his own little olive oil dispenser, which I think is really sweet. And in total, I think this cost under £15 for these 2 and the olive oil dispenser. So I thought that was a really, really smart little DIY hack, and I'm sure Chad will come and chat your ear off in a second when he comes back inside and sees that I'm talking about this without him. But I will say that is a very creative hack, and I might do an Instagram video on that because I think that's a really cheap way of getting something quite nice. So yeah, well done Chad for that. I will give him credit where credit is due. Also, whilst we're on the topic of home, I showed you the other day, and I would have shown you at the start of this vlog, that I'm really into gardening. We're both getting into our garden, and I wanted some cut flowers and some edible flowers. So I've ordered some from Crocus. I've ordered some nasturtiums, and I know this is quite a touchy topic because nasturtiums can be quite, not invasive, I don't want to say invasive, but they're basically ground cover, so they can take over quite a lot. The first one is Nasturtium Baby Rose, a petite flowered mounding variety with lily pad foliage, and these are really pretty red-ish coloured flowers. All nasturtium flowers, I've been told, are edible, so I'd like these to go in salads, on top of cakes, maybe in some ice cubes to create some nice, like, pretty floral ice cubes. So that was the first one I picked up. And then the second I got is Nasturtium Black Velvet. Again, pretty much the same thing, just a different colour. I'm going to pop those into my bathtubs in a minute, I think, or maybe tomorrow, because I think these need to soak overnight before you plant them. Yeah, we'll try that. And then for some cut flowers, the first year we ever lived here, I started planting cosmos, however you say them. And since the first year that we've lived here, I've never done it basically. So I thought, let me order some pretty cosmos. Well, the first one I ordered was a double click snow puff. These are like double frilled white cosmos. And for anyone who's never done sowing of cosmos before, they're the easiest plant that you can grow from seed, in my opinion. They're the only ones that I've grown that have survived me. So if they can survive me, they can survive you. But these are like cut and come again flowers. So the more you cut them, the more they grow buds. So they're going to go in my side alley, I think, if it gets enough sun. We'll try them out. The second one I got was a double frilled pink cosmos called Double Click Rose, and these again are really pretty. I think these together will look really lovely in floral displays. And yeah, I think that's going to be the start of my cut flower garden. I'm already growing veg. My veg is doing okay. I planted it a few days ago. It's had water, it's had sunlight. They look okay. The cucumbers don't look the best. So we're going to plant these probably tomorrow. See how it all gets on. But yeah, I'd love to know if you guys are growing anything. What are you growing? Do you grow flowers? Do you grow veg? Do you have any tips? Let me know. It's very much appreciated. But yeah, that's all to do with home. And then you would have seen that when we went to Belgravia, there was also a Bailey and Sage there, which is a farm shop. Farm shops aren't that common in our part of London, so it's always nice to stop in when we go past them. We picked up some bits. The first actually wasn't from Bailey and Sage, sorry, it was the Chia Rye Loaf from Olenstein. This is really nice. If you have the chance to go into an Olenstein and get this chia rye loaf, really lovely. Soft rye bread with a mild taste, baked with wheat, rye, chia and sunflower seeds. That toasted with a bit of butter, yum, delightful. Then we stopped in Bailey and Sage. We picked up some Romanesco broccoli. I make a really nice like raw bean salad with this, some butter beans. What else is in it? I can't remember. French beans and this. It's an ottolenghi recipe, obviously. But this is really lovely on a summer's day with that salad. So I've got some of this. We're going to make this probably this week. I probably will show you what we're going to do with it. But yeah, I love Romanesco. It's not very easy to find either in the UK. Next was some Sicilian lemons. Really lovely, good hardy lemons to have in your fridge. And then Chad obviously wanted to pick up some tomatoes, which are similar to the tomatoes he's growing at the moment. These are the most stunning tomatoes. They're heritage tomatoes. I'm not sure what the variety of this one is, but with a bit of olive oil, some salt, some mozzarella, possibly some buffalo mozzarella. You cannot go wrong. So we picked up 3 of those tomatoes. Next, I love my sausage ragu, and especially like a Tuscan sausage ragu. So Bailey and Sage have a type of sausage that you can find in Tuscany, and it has fennel in it. And it's, if you know what the sausage tastes like, nowhere in the UK sells anything like this. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of meat outside of the UK, because I feel like we do a really good job of creating really high quality meat. And sometimes I think in Italy, maybe it's not as high quality, but I will say their sausages do pack a lot of flavour. And I really like the fennel sausages you can get in Italy. So I picked some of these up, and I will make a sausage ragu at some point this week. So yeah, they're really lovely. The next thing was a Chad buy. This was Comté. Chad loves a Comté, but Comté is a really nice hard cheese. I think it's Swiss, maybe Swiss French, I'm not sure. So yeah, that was for Chad. And then I picked up for myself some goat's cheese. I love a goat's cheese that has the sort of like ash taste to it. I'm hoping this is going to be really strong and really nice to enjoy. So I love me some cheese. And of course, to go with the cheese, we got some olive bread. Based like a big cracker with olives inside. You can't really go wrong with stuff like that. I do love Bailey and Sage. I wish they opened one in East London. So if anyone works for Bailey and Sage and you're looking to expand, then maybe explore the East. So yeah, that was what we picked up from Bailey and Sage. I appreciate it's probably not that much when you're looking at it from a camera, but it felt like quite a lot when we were buying.
So I'm potting my Costoluto Fiorentina tomatoes. So they came in the post the other day as little seedlings. Now the original plan was I was going to put 4 per pot because I have 8. So the logic was I'd put 1 at each branch. Turns out they really expand, bigger than most tomatoes, and you can actually only have 1 seedling per pot when it's a 40 centimeter pot. But if you have a 60 centimeter pot, you could fit in 2. I don't. So it means I need to go pot shopping because I have 8 seedlings and only 2 pots. But I've smashed up a little terracotta cheap pot that we had just for the drainage on the bottom. I've added the tomato soil. I've ripped it all up, so I'm not sure what the name of this one is, but it's specifically designed for tomatoes. Best sort of soil or compost you can put them in. And you can see here, I've placed the seedling in the center, and logically that will spread pretty far and wide and then grow up the vines. And I'm now making my way through the second pot. So yes, I'll get this one done as well. Then I'm going to go to garden centre and get some more pots. And I also need to get some more of these because I only have 2. And I didn't fiscally account for 8. So yeah, good news, lots of tomatoes. Bad news, much more expensive than we first thought. And there we have it. So that is 3 seedlings potted. Obviously got 2 of the large pots, and I found a slightly smaller one, but it should survive okay in that. I should say, for anyone interested in these tomatoes, if you don't want to grow the sort of typical British ones, if you want the more Italian sort of bumpy style, these are the Costoluto Fiorentino ones, and you get them from Sarah Raven, which is kind of an online nursery. Amazing, we get a lot of things from there, and I think a pack of 8 was like £20, so really not expensive whatsoever. And obviously, now that we've got these, we'll keep the seeds from the tomatoes and continue to plant these year on year. But yeah, really affordable, and we'll keep you going on the journey with these. We did grow tomatoes last year, little mini cherry ones, and they thrived, but we just put them in the ground and gave them some support. So we've not done potted, we've not done this variation before, and we've not done this sort of scale of them either, because there's, like I said, there's going to be a lot. And we're also now starting to grow cucumbers, courgettes, and beans as well, broad beans I think. So hopefully we'll have a pretty good harvest this year that we can share with our neighbours, but also reduce our own spend at the supermarket and start cooking our own veg. So we are back in the garden, and apologies, there's a cat in the way. What we've been able to do is we have been able to find 2 authentic terracotta pots. They're not the most decorative, but they are made in Italy. They're really weathered on the outside thanks to being in the UK. And that means 2 more seedlings, bringing us to 5 in total. I don't think we need more than 5. So the additionals, I might just offer them to some neighbours who want to grow them themselves. We also discovered that one of our lavender shrubs and one of our Annabelle hydrangeas sadly didn't make it this year. So we did find a big, like 5'3" Annabelle hydrangea that we're going to replace, as well as quite a large English lavender shrub as well. So we'll get them replaced, we'll get the last 2 seedlings potted, and that is us done in the garden, at least for this week. So you can see here they're quite aged. These are made in Tuscany, and they're a little bit decorative. No, this is not for you, cat. This is not our cat. This is one that won't leave us alone, but it is very lovely. Come here. Here's a good girl. Here's a good girl. Anyway, so added some drainage to both. I need to put a little bit more in this one, and we'll get those 2 seedlings put in. And then this is the hydrangea Annabelle, so it's huge. I'm actually a little annoyed because it doesn't look like they've pruned it. I have a feeling this one, it's too late to prune it now. It's already greening up, so we'll probably have lots of flowers, but they won't be the biggest, which will be frustrating. Oh, you're coming back. So yeah, I'll get these planted and I'll show you the results. So this is the English lavender shrub that we bought, and then this is the one that's sadly deceased. So we are going to keep it. You can see it is making a bit of a comeback, but for this year we want it quite big. So we're going to remove that in one of the communal gardens outside where it will come back to life, and replace it with this one, which is just far more sort of jubilant. This is the hydrangea that we purchased. So once again, this is an Annabelle, so big white flowers. And you can see that over here, that one in the corner just hasn't survived. There's one little bit on the right hand side, but it's not going to look good. So we're going to take that out, try and replant that somewhere just so it comes back to life. But for the meantime, we'll have the big one popped in.
Right, good morning everyone. We are currently on the next day. Today is go, go, go. So we've got a lot of things we need to do. The first is to stain these. So Chad's going to get these stained because my dad's coming down tonight, which means they're probably going to either be put on today or tomorrow. I'm hoping to get this all included within this video because I think it would be quite nice to have a bit of homey stuff being done in this one. So I think Chad's going to be on project staining. He'll talk you all through that in a second. And then I am going to be on the upstairs bedroom because I need to finish painting it before our big chandelier gets installed. We showed you a few weeks ago, we're going to swap around some chandeliers, and I think in our bedroom we're going to have the big one because we can secure it onto the beam upstairs through the loft. So lots of things to do today. Chad's just gone for his little walk and I think he's going to grab a coffee. I'm going to get started on the main bedroom, and then when he comes back he's probably going to pick up the camera and stain things with you. So let's get going.
You'll have to pardon the mess. What I'm going to quickly show you now are the dolly light switches that I ordered from Broughton's of Leicester. I've wanted these for years. I don't know why it's taken me this long to get them, but really lovely dolly style in a solid aged brass, and then it comes in a solid oak background, which I'm about to stain. So I'll show you the stain that I'll be going for, how we're applying it, but these are going to look absolutely stunning across the house. And then side by side with that is the new olive oil jar. Ash might have mentioned that I bought one on Etsy for, I think it was about £100, which I just thought was extortionate. But it is lovely, but I thought there must be a cheaper way of doing it. Lo and behold, the next day I see an ad for M&S flower jars, and I just thought that would look like a lovely olive oil poorer. So I bought it for about £12. It came perfect size. I went on Amazon and bought a little corkscrew dispenser for the top. Fits perfectly, and now we have an amazing, really stunning, sort of cracked, hand-painted olive oil jar. And here it is, so all attached. So again, this was about £12 for the flower pot, and it came with two, but lovely cracked effect. Looks like it's hand painted. Obviously it's not, it is mass produced, but really looks the piece. And then £1.99 for a pack of 4, I think, on the lids and the top. Much cheaper, really stunning, and I will link everything below, so if you do want to get these on M&S before they're gone and turn your own into an olive oil container, then go for it. In terms of the stain, doesn't look very aesthetically pleasing right now, but bear in mind this is a first coat. It will get a light sand and then the second coat will go on. I've done this a million times, so I know it looks terrible the first, but it's fine after. But this is the stain we're going for, so it is a dark walnut, and then you can see on the larger one here what it's already starting to shape up. This one's been drying a little longer, so a light sand on the top just to smooth out the lines, and then the second coat should just have a natural finish, which will be lovely. In terms of the stain we're going for, so this is the Dulux wood sheen, and it's a dark walnut. This is the same stain that we have on our stairs, so on the handrail and the steps. But yeah, this will get done this evening, by this evening I should say, and then going into tomorrow we'll get these on the wall. I don't know if I did mention, but these are from an independent British company called Broughtons of Leicester. Amazing company, had incredible customer support, literally came next day, and really well priced as well. And I believe it's all handmade in the UK, and they specialise in a lot of amazing ironmongery things. This is not gifted or paid an ad or anything like that, just genuinely shouting out a good British company. Another alternative, if they happen to sell out or anything like this, is another online store called Victorian Emporium, which sell lots of lovely period sort of Victorian Georgian bits. Granted, they are a little bit more expensive, but just a good alternative. I'm going to pretend like I did all of that, but my dad really did it. I might get the last little... Do I just spin it on? There you go, I did it all. Right, so this is going to be a bit rushed, but we're going to head on out because Dad needs a few things to do our electric work. The first thing we're going to do is channel this cable into the wall. I don't know if you can see it from here or from there, but this cable has been hanging outside the wall since we bought the house, and we always forget to do it when Dad comes down, but this basically controls all of the lights to the upstairs. For some reason, when they rewired it, they did this, and we've just been really silly and not fixed it. So today we're fixing it. We need to just go and get some... I think it's called trunking, but not the one that goes external to the wall, the one that goes inside. Maybe it's called capping or something, I don't know. But we need to go and get like a steel thing that will keep it into the wall. We're going to go do that now, we're going to go grab it, but then Dad's going to chisel this out in the meantime. So when we get back, it should be a big hole in the wall, which should be quite fun. Okay, right, this has now all been channeled out, and then we're going to pop the metal thing in place to keep it secure. Technical terms from me. But whilst Dad has done this, we're now moving on to the downstairs.
I don't think in another life you could have been a plasterer. It's like making a cake. Okay, so this is Claudio's handy plaster work. I will not leave his details below because you will not want to hire him. But we're gonna let this dry for a little bit and then probably come back and sand it and then reapply another coat. But in the meantime, we're gonna head on downstairs. Are we gonna head on downstairs? Chad and I are gonna empty the kitchen cupboards. He's already started, but I'm gonna go help him now.
Keep an eye on that.
I'll keep an eye on. No, I need to come downstairs. I'll come downstairs. I feel that I'm useless. I'm gonna go and clean up some stuff, and then we're gonna start on the kitchen. Sorry. So I think Dad wants to rewire the chandelier. Are you gonna do that now?
Do the socket first.
Okay, he's gonna do the sockets first. So ignore what I'm saying. I'm gonna go downstairs with Dad now, and we're gonna do the sockets. Am I just putting this one?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my god. Are you sure this isn't a toucher? Got it. That was fun. Okay, excuse the mess of the background and excuse the lighting because it's a very dark day and the lights aren't on. But basically what I've just done is, if you can see in here, originally we wanted to have an electric fireplace within this fireplace. So when Dad did the electrics originally, we popped in a wire, obviously to wire in an electric fireplace. But since then we decided we want a bioethanol fireplace. So what we've done is we've removed the cable. Dad's just removing the socket in this cupboard now. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a second socket into the second cupboard in here for like a lamp, a table lamp that can go on top of here, as we've never had that before. So Dad's just going to do that really quickly. And then we're also going to be hanging 2 of the chandeliers, hopefully. I think Dad needs to rewire this one because this one isn't wired correctly. And then we're also going to do the kitchen. So we've got a lot to do. So let's get going. Right, so basically Dad's trying to put one of these inside here now, and then that's going to house the new socket. It's going to be a double socket, so we've got 2 switches. Perfect. And then because we're not going to see it, I've just got a simple white socket that's going to go over the top of that in there. Okay, so next issue, this chandelier that we bought, Dad said isn't wired correctly. So basically, it's 2 sets, it's 2 tiers. So there's a lower tier and a top tier. And apparently, the way it's wired was for, is it 2 separate switches?
Yeah.
So 2 separate switches. So the lower tier and the top tier would have been turned on by 2 different switches.
No earth as well.
And there's no earth as well. So whoever we bought this from, naughty, naughty. But Dad's going to work his magic on this. What are you going to do?
Don't know yet.
He doesn't know yet, so I'm not going to tell you what he's going to do because he hasn't decided. But basically, I think he's going to try and connect it all to one circuit. So one light switch is going to turn it on, and also have some sort of earthing there. Because if we touch this and it's on, we could get electrocuted, which is not very good. So, Dad to the rescue. We'll check back in a couple of minutes. Okay, it's now time for. Sorry, Dad does not want to be on the camera. No one look at his face. There you go. It's now time for the chandelier to go up. Dad has spent all morning, well, not all morning.
All day.
No, about 10, 15 minutes.
Must be that, actually.
Rewiring this chandelier. Yeah, I'm just showing everyone the chandelier. Sorry, yeah. So we're going to put this chandelier up. We're taking down this really cheap one that we bought, around, what, 3 or 4 years ago. It cost £25 from Stow on the Wold. And now we're replacing it with this really big, beefy chandelier. But Dad's a bit sceptical because it's very heavy and we can't really see the joist through the ceiling rows. So Dad's going to moan for about 30 minutes and then he's going to soldier through. But yeah, I'm just going to keep you running whilst we do this because it might be The Last of Us. How light that is.
Should we put it outside?
Do you want to dust it first? I don't think I've ever dusted that, I can't deny.
They run the same. They run this way if I remember, so...
No, because the floorboards are running that way, so they should be running that way here. No? No, because if it's an external wall, they run that way.
Yes.
That way is
So
one.
the joists go wall to wall this way, if my memory serves.
There's nothing there.
You say this every time.
Every single time Dad does
Every
this.
time.
Oh, there's no one here.
I can't put that on the door.
Do you not have a drill with a really thin, long bit that'll be easier just to drill up?
No.
Believe me, I know what I'm doing. There's not doing that.
Of course, of course. Watch him say in a second, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there, I'm afraid.
There has to be something there.
I'll tell you, there's nothing there.
There has to be, there can't just be
Can we
no...
find out where the nearest one is?
No, without lifting the carpet.
Say goodbye to the chandelier, everyone.
It'll just have to go there.
It can't be hung off centre like that, that's pathetic.
It's that on your right.
Oh my god.
I know I'd rather prefer.
Oh no.
Daniel, that must be your fault when you put the rose in. You didn't match the rose with the joist.
No, because the rose is central to the room.
You asked me to put it there.
Yeah, because that's central to the room. But then I don't understand, because there has to be a joist continuing from that one.
There might be a nog in there or something.
Okay, so this is the state of our guest bedroom at the moment. What we're doing, Dad's just created a, what would you call this? A noggin with a joist that we just want to buy. And we're gonna screw this in place and this is gonna be the support for the chandelier. So I think Dad's cut that one a bit too big. Everyone say your last prayers. Is that the fuse just gone?
Yeah, because I touched it.
I thought you would have turned it off first. Okay. On?
No.
Let go? Or what?
Hold a second, because I need to get back.
I've got it. That's not as heavy as you think it is, this one.
No, that one's not.
No, this
heavy.
one's not as
It's
heavy.
the other one.
Over there is heavy. Okay, so chandelier is up. The issue we're having now, not an issue, but I just need to get a cable tie to tie up the top rows, because for some reason these old chandeliers, sometimes they're missing the screw that holds them in place. So if you can see, you can actually see the top of the ceiling rows. You're not meant to see that. So this is meant to cover like the wiring and everything. So if I don't have a cable tie, then we'll have to do that another day. But I think this looks really lovely and it's up. It hasn't fallen thus far. Okay, we're now on to the last chandelier of the day.
Shoes on,
You can get some shoes on, yeah, just take mine. Right, so as I just mentioned, this is the last chandelier we're going to be putting up today. The chandelier that's going here was in our bedroom, the one that we put up a few weeks ago, but we're going to be popping that here right now, and then we only have the one chandelier left to do in this room, but that is for another day. So we're going to focus on this one. Oh, there's just a screwdriver hanging from the ceiling. We're going to focus on this one first, and then I think we're going to head down to the kitchen and try and get that done today as well. As you can see from the feet, yes?
We need to screw the drill.
The drill, yes. As you can see, the hammer. Yes? As you can see, from the feet hanging down the attic, we are up. Pardon? A bed? That's not my bed. Apparently there's a bed upstairs. As you can see, from the feet hanging down from the attic. Oh my god. Oh, you don't even need that. Sorry. This one? I've lost my train of thought. We're having to do the same thing, sorry, that we did in our guest bedroom with the floorboards. You know, the, what's it called? Dan, what was that thing called?
A noggin.
A noggin. So we're going to put a noggin in the upstairs one because there is no joist. I think the joist runs here and like here. So we're putting a noggin across. Apologies if that's not the correct word. But then we're going to drill the chandelier into the noggin that's running perpendicular to the joists. Yes? This drill. And as you can see, I'm being extremely helpful. Okay, last job of the day. We're taking off all of these handles just because they're really nice and we want to salvage them. But Dad is trying to remove this from the wall that's somehow fixed in. And then we're going to take off all of our cupboards and get rid of them. Okay, so we are now on day 2 of ripping out the kitchen. As you can see, this is the current state of the kitchen. It already feels a lot more open and a lot more airy. But what we're going to do today, this is Dad's last day here. We're working him very hard. But there are cables for the light bulbs, which are located, well, they were under the cabinets, and now we need to move them so they become wall lights. So I think what Dad's going to have to do is, they're coming from the roof, so we're going to have to channel all the way up, pop it back through the roof and then down to the midpoint of this like worktop here, and then the same on the other side. I don't know if you can see the other side, but Dad's concerned that there's not enough cable to make it reach the midpoint, but I would like it to be midway through. So we're going to see how that goes. We're going to get started straight away because it's Sunday today and this video needs to go out later today and I need to edit it, so let's get going. First thing we're going to do is take this one out. This used to be the extractor point. But obviously we don't need this anymore, and I don't want a light over the cooker, so snippy snippy. I would definitely make sure it's turned up. Okay, so this unit here is 155 centimeters, so halfway through, which is marking now. And then we're trying to do the same height as these wall lights. We're gonna pop in the wall lights at this height as well. And then the wall lights I'm gonna choose are gonna sort of arc upwards and then down. So even though the shelf is gonna be around here, the light won't really be in its way because it's gonna go up and then before it comes back down. So the shelf, I don't know if you can see where the old like bottom of the like inside cupboards were. It wasn't the bottom of the cupboards because that's where this was, but I'm gonna have the shelf running along this point here and then the lights around this point somewhere. So let's get going. So it's a few hours later. We've been out into London today after Dad's done this really quickly. And we had a bit of a walk around Westminster. We actually went to the Churchill War Rooms, which is really interesting. But I might show you guys that next week because this vlog, I'm sure, is over an hour long. So we're gonna end this video here. I'm gonna get to editing this video because it's currently, I think, like 4 o'clock on Sunday, and this needs to go out by, well, but latest 5, but I think it's gonna be a bit late. So apologies if it's a bit late. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the kitchen. It's very different, but yeah, this is gonna be the start of the little kitchen project. I will show you tiles and everything in the next video because we might have changed our mind one last time. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and I shall see you next week. Have a lovely week, guys. Thank you for watching.